Hello there, these were friends. Today we will be doing a book of DORK Diaries, Frenemies Forever. In this book I will be rating the art, the design, the background, which is also included in art, the handwriting, and also the story, the actual story. And this book is written by Rachel Rennie Russell and over 50 million copies in print. I don't know if that's actually true, but maybe it is. Now, as you can see here, I read this book. This is the one we're reading right now. This book, I think that I've read this book as well, and these two books, along with this one book. So, I read those books. Now we can start. To Cameron Chase, your star, keep dancing. No. Wait. Okay. As you can see here, Monday, May 5 to 7:15 a.m. at home. So in this thing, okay. So in this story, she's talking about how she's having a meltdown at home. Why is the reason? Because she's going to Northampton Hills. If you've read DORK Diaries, then you know this is Maxie Hollister. Well, the drama queen that ruined Nikki's life forever. Nikki is this character here, and she is the character author of the book. Now, as you can see here, in every book she will compare Maxie to at least something, and in this book she compares Maxie to a rattlesnake in lip gloss and hoop earrings and blonde hair extensions. That's cute, honestly. I'm not gonna lie, it looks a bit like the mean Maxie we know, but seriously, can't you just think that looks a bit cute? Now, let's get to the actual story. Now, in Northampton schools, Maxie hasn't been doing so well, especially since the bug hair video was sent of her freaking out about a bug in her hair. And she's been getting bullied quite a lot lately. But on the dark side for Nikki, other than the bright side, which is Maxie is getting bullied, Nikki, for her dark side, has her identity stolen at least a few couple times by Maxie. Like the time she'd been cyberbullied when she was trying to make a Miss Know-It-All, let's say, website, where she would ask students with problems to send letters to them, and she would write back to them. Okay, so she said here's a list of what Maxie has done to her. In just the past month or so, she has slammed me in the face with a dodgeball, stared in my diary, hacked into my newspaper advice column, which is the Miss Know-It-All thing, accused me of cyberbullying her, and pretended to be me. Like, who does that? Only a complete and utter mean girl, is what she says. So she says later at Monday 7:50 a.m. at my locker, she talks about how she now has a new puppy in her house. So now we know, for ones who are confused what order it goes in, we now know it goes beep, 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 and it goes like that, all the way starting from right down, not to your right. Now, here you can see that she is trying to make a perfume called Puppy Breath. And it kind of looks like it's supposed to smell good. Honestly, Puppy Breath is not actually what you want on you. Seriously. You would stink like hell. Okay. Here, she's saying that Daisy, who is the new puppy in the house, that dog never sleeps. Daisy decided to wake me up. Me being attacked by a ferocious furball in the middle of the night. So she says that every time she goes to sleep, Daisy just decides to bite her hair and yank it and start barking, which causes Nikki to wake up all the time, even when she's just trying to sleep. And she's saying that Daisy is anyways so cute that she couldn't stay mad. Me snuggling with Daisy and trying to get her to sleep. So here she is now at Northampton, and she is now at, what do we say? She's now at school. So here she gets a letter by Principal Winston, who is her principal. These are her two friends, Chloe and Zoe. So here, in this girls' restroom, Nikki is actually having a complete meltdown. That is what this is. Okay, now that was too cringe, honestly. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that was really cringe. When I say yeah, that's too cringe. No, I'm just give me a moment. Okay, back to it. Yeah. So this letter is about how she is now entering Northampton Hills International Academy, NHH. So Principal Winston is telling her that she has to be at Northampton school now. She tells her best friends that, and her best friends feel sorry for her. Chloe and Zoe look at each other and say, "We got the same school." They look at Nikki happy, and Nikki thinks, wait, so I'm gonna be with my best friends even though my worst enemy is also gonna be there? Sweet, she thought. And then Brandon joined in. "I'm also in the same school," he said, looking at Chloe and Zoe's letters. And so here they all yell out, "South Ridge Middle School." Now I look at them confused, thinking, wait, so they're not going to Northampton schools? So she gasped, "Wait, what?" I thought, wait a minute, guys, are you sure? But Chloe and Zoe Brandon didn't seem to hear me. The three of them were laughing and talking about how great it was going to be to hang out with Brandon's best friend Max Crumbly at Southridge Middle School. Suddenly my stomach started to churn, and I could taste the breakfast burrito I had eaten this morning. I bit my lips and tried to swallow the lump in my throat. No one seemed to notice that I was upset. It was like I was invisible or something, and those people are supposed to be my friends. I didn't have a clue but to ask myself a very difficult question. Why did I feel like why did I feel like a giant bucket of puke? And so she tells Zoe, Chloe and Brandon about it. They all gasped. "Maxie's school? That's terrible," Chloe groaned. "You poor thing," Zoe moaned. "That's cruddy luck." "What cruddy luck?" Brandon muttered. OMG. I was so frustrated and I was gonna scream. So later they're texting each other and they're talking about how Brandon, maybe he should talk to Principal Winston about how he should probably do something about it. So they're doing this in physics class, and they decide to stop texting. And here you can see biology, they're texting, and this is her crush and not her friend, remember that? So yeah, that's why it gets all lovey. Oh my god, I hate it when I say lovey or whatever. So let's just keep going. Okay, so Nikki texts him back saying that it was okay, she could deal with it. So next you can see Brianna is up to something here. Brianna is Nikki's little sister. So here she is trying to make brownies, it seems, but she seems to get things a little wrong. Wait, she's not making brownies actually, she's making chocolate pudding. Yeah, so she put milk, she put yummy pudding, powder, and now the issue is she added macaroni pieces raw into the brownie mixture, and she even added egg along with the eggshells. She didn't even try to remove the she didn't even try to crack the egg. So here she puts it in the oven, even though Nikki tells her that puddings are supposed to go in the fridge. She yells, I have my own decisions in my own cooking, Brianna yells at Nikki. And so she storms off to the oven and puts her pudding like slobbery mess in it. So as you can see here, it looks exactly like a disaster. It looks honestly like something where you mix puke and some other things together. And that's kind of the same thing Brianna made except with macaroni, eggshells, milk and biscuit and chocolate pudding mix. Doesn't it look delish? She said. So here she makes a menu without even washing her hands and says she gets the whole thing wrong. Like she goes, Chef Brianna's 5-star. Instead of writing star, she writes store, and she crosses that out and writes star menu. So she writes breakfast burnt, and she crosses out BERNT because it's wrong and it's BURNT, burnt chocolate pudding. And then for lunch, she puts burnt chocolate pudding. And she even gets lunch wrong by writing launch. Now, for dinner, she writes burnt chocolate pudding again. And so she goes BOON, even though that's the wrong thing. And that's why she crosses it out again and writes BON. Appetit. Every time I think about bon appetit, I think about saying it like this: bon appetit. It's a bit funny way to say bon appetit, especially if you're a kid watching this right now. So as you can see here, Nikki's kind of insulting Brianna's cooking, and Brianna says she's taking it for her scout meeting, so that she can share with everyone and maybe get her cooking badge. And so Nikki looks at her like, it's okay, I'll help you make chocolate pudding later. But Brianna says that nothing can help her now. And Nikki makes her a bowl of ice cream with raisins and ketchup. Brianna eating her fave dessert of ice cream, ketchup, and raisins. It totally worked. She wrote in the diary. Within minutes, she was smiling from ear to ear. But watching her actually eat that stuff was disgusting. I just threw up in my mouth for the 3rd time this evening. Ew. So then she talks about how she wants to talk to her friends about the issue of Northampton. So here, she's saying, you're right, I'm going to tell Principal Winston everything. It's the only way to shut down Maxie. Nikki, we've got your back on this. And so her friends tell her that everything's going to be okay, and they've got her back on this. Now, as you can see, she's very happy about it, and, well, the coach tells them to get back to work. So she says, well, I can't exactly tell Mr. Winston, because obviously he'll ask for reasons why I want to avoid Maxie. Just tell whatever happened, girl, said Zoe. But Nikki nods her head from right to left, saying, no, I can't. Because if I do, he might ask about the diary situation, because Mr. Winston knows about that situation, and he might ask me to maybe explain about the things that happen. And plus, you know what's there in my diary. she told them about how they'd both get into detention if they weren't able to retain the issue. So as you can see, she's giving examples of why they'll get into detention. Joyriding in the library, wee. so that's Chloe saying wee, and making prank calls on the school phone. And Nikki's like, hello, is this Joy's bar? Sneaking into boys' locker room, football practice today, swim team meeting today at 3 p.m. And so, pretending to be a football team. Me, Chloe, Zoe. And so, the coach here is like, what the hell? Are these boys actually female, or are they just kind of like this? And so, there was also wandering the halls with a garbage can instead of hall pass, smuggling 8 dogs into the school. Now, I've read this book. This is a puppy book. In fact, we've been secretly hanging out in the janitor's closet like forever. That's not even everything we've done, I ranted. Forget detention. We'll probably get a 1-week suspension. So, suddenly Chloe and Zoe got really quiet. They both stared at me in total disbelief. Did you just say we? Zoe finally sputtered. 1 second though, reported Maxie might not be the best way to handle things, Chloe muttered. Did I mention that I'm allergic to suspensions? Okay, now I'm starting to get a little ticked off. So she's thinking about the trip to Paris, the Louvre Museum. She thinks about how she wrote about the Louvre Museum with a lot of pressure under her in case she won't get it right. But she knows she'll get it right since she did a lot of art and a lot of writing. Many important facts are included as well. So she got an A+ on the Louvre Museum thing. Now, here, this is her French teacher telling her that she has an opportunity to go on a trip to Paris at NHH, and so this is Monsieur Dupont, I think. So she's talking about her report and saying about the Paris thing, and so the teacher tells her about it. So she's doing a happy Snoopy dance. So she's still unhappy about the Maxie Hollister issue, but now she gets a uniform and her friends are totally jealous of her. As you can see here, they're all yelling awesome, because it actually is pretty awesome. And her style kind of fits with it. Chloe and Zoe admiring my classy NHH uniform is what she says. So now she talks about how she dreads taking school photos and never knows if somebody's actually staring at a photo at that moment laughing with their friends. So here she sees an advertisement in a magazine saying Perfect 10 facial cream. Perfect 10 facial cream used by teen celebs for beautiful glowing skin. So as you can see here, so she's saying, which also means Perfect 10 facial cream is probably fake. But the ad also, I wasn't stupid. Everybody knows the before and after photos in these type of ads are totally fake. Which also means Perfect 10 facial cream is probably fake. The ad is also said used by teen celebs for beautiful glowing skin. And it's good enough. If it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me. It was amazing to discover that not only is Perfect 10 pure and organic, but it's made from fancy ingredients like honey, plain Greek yogurt, blueberry extract, grapeseed oil, figs, seaweed, moon dust, and spring water. OMG, I'm dying to try it. Although I was fine with my dorky cuteness, I thought I would much rather be mistaken for a glam teen celeb by Northampton Hills. The only problem is that Perfect 10 is $79. Yikes. So here she's making her own version of the facial cream. So here she's saying the Dorky Girl's homemade facial cream for gorgeous glowing skin. What you're not going to need. Are you basically broke with a life saving of $3.58 secretly hidden in your sock drawer? If your mum adamantly refuses to give you $79 for Perfect 10 because she says she'd rather use the money to buy groceries since your family can't eat facial cream for dinner, if your answer is yes, either of these questions, they are then below in the list of the things you won't need. You already crossed out everything on the list for you. You're welcome. So she doesn't need the things that was mentioned in the poster. What you're gonna need is pancake syrup, a cup of cold water, tablespoons, Missy's hot chocolate mix, fig cookies, Greta's grape juice, Princess Sugar Plum's yogurt, and canned spinach. So that's what you're gonna need. And so she mixes everything and compares them to the real thing. Now she tries it on after mixing it together, and the next day she's having a total meltdown because she's blue, like neon blue. Until she goes to school with a ski mask on. She goes to Janice's closet with her friends, saying, "Actually, I'm blue, really blue." "What?" Chloe exclaimed. That's when I totally lost it. "I'm blue," I wailed. "You gotta help me. I'm blue." But my BFF must have thought I had invited them to Janice's closet for a pity party or something, because I was feeling blue. So as you know, when you say you're feeling blue, in a way you don't want to actually say that you're feeling sad. You say, "I'm feeling blue," in a sad voice. "Poor thing," Chloe pouted. "Don't worry. We'll cheer you up and put a smile back on your face. Nikki is very, very sad," Zoe said in an annoying baby voice. "I think he needs a very big hug." So I'm kind of good with baby voices sometimes, but not really. Big hug. They both grabbed me and gave me a big bear hug. "Now does Nikki feel better?" Zoe asked. "Because we love you. We really do." "You don't understand," I said, snatching the mask off my head. Chloe and Zoe just stared at me in shock for what seemed like forever. Then they shrieked, "OMG, you're blue! Your face!" they gasped. So, after a lot of gasping and all, Chloe tells them about how she has some makeup wipes in her purse, which in a good way wipes off any extract like food coloring or makeup that is not coming off by randomly washing it off. So as you can see here, this is the little pack of that, and she says that now she has glowing skin except without the neon blue. So she got her ID for NHH, and here here you can see Zoe and Chloe came to Nikki's house to help Brianna again try to make another dish for the club meeting, another club meeting that is. So you can see there's mozzarella cheese, tomato sauce, pepperoni, and some dough with them. So while they each gave each other tasks to do, Brianna grabbed the dough and started tossing it in the air. But before she could actually catch it, it just went splat. Oops. Chloe and Zoe started laughing so much, but Nikki wasn't that happy. OMG, I was so disgusted. Brianna looked like the Pillsbury Doughboy's half-human little sister. Our attempt to help her make a pizza turned into a catastrophe. Who turned out the lights? Brianna giggled. Then she started staggering around the kitchen like a dough-covered ghost, yelling "boo, boo," as if it were Halloween or something. Chloe and Zoe couldn't help but crack up at my bratty little sister's crazy antics. But the situation was not a joke. Brianna had totally ruined the snack she was preparing for the scout meeting again. Chloe and Zoe each tried to give Brianna the pizza, but I wouldn't let them. The pizzas they had made were supposed to be dinner for their families. Now, as you can see here, so Nikki talks about how she's feeling pitiful for Brianna's family when she grows up, because, well, it would be a bit annoying to have a mom that can't even cook. Honestly, it's not that bad. It's okay if moms can't cook. But seriously, she's like, if Brianna says I'll cook, then her family is cooked themselves. So this is her at her first day of Northampton School. So she goes to the lobby, and there she waits for a girl named, Tiffany? Yeah, Tiffany. So this is Tiffany. So she says, "Welcome, Nikki." And she's like, "OMG, I'm so happy to finally meet you, Nikki. I've heard so much about you." She's just yelling it and Nikki's just looking at her like, "Bro, chill. I'm really just a student exchange student. Seriously, I'm just here for 1 week, and you're acting like I'm your best friend, and that I did something for you that you're actually so grateful about, even though I did nothing. My name is Tiffany Blaine Davenport, and as you can see, this is actually a huge red flag. So in the story, they talk about how Nikki goes to school, and Nikki Maxwell is given the Northampton Hills class schedule. And so she is at class at that time, and she's kind of concentrating on her French class. At lunchtime, Tiffany invited me to sit at her table with seven of her closest friends in a church cafeteria set up like the food court at the mall, but bigger with better tasting gourmet choices. Although I was trying my best to be friendly, Tiffany was starting to get on my last nerve. This girl was vain that she took a selfie like every 10 minutes. Next, she asked me to go get her lunch. Since I was getting my lunch, she asked me to dump her lunch tray since I was dumping my tray. And finally, she asked me to carry her books since I was carrying mine. OMG, I totally lost it. I yelled at in front of her the entire cafeteria. "Listen, Tiffany, I have to go to the bathroom. So while I'm here, would you like me to go to pee and proof for you too?" Me screaming at Tiffany. But I said that in my head so no one else heard it but me. And honestly, I wish she actually said that to Tiffany, because that would teach Tiffany to stop doing that to her. And honestly, I'm the type of person who wouldn't just reveal whatever you're just going to use to roast somebody else or to get somebody else in trouble. So I'm the type of person who keeps that in secret to avoid needing to run or needing to dodge any other thing. So she's not very happy with Tiffany at the moment. And while they were in the corridor, they bumped into a guy named Patrick. His glasses fell down. He had a Star Wars lightsaber with him, and he also had a ballot box full of notes. So this is how Tiffany reacts. "You clumsy idiot," Tiffany snarled. "How am I supposed to send a text with you body slamming me like this in the Super Bowl?" Sorry, Tiffany, the guy stammered, slightly dazed as he slowly picked himself up. So, this is Patrick, and here Nikki is disagreeing with Tiffany and her friends because she scolded Tiffany for doing that. So here you can see that Nikki is insecure but looks brave enough to go through them. So now they're just yelling at her about the lies that Maxie had told them about when she was there. So next, as you can see, this is Nikki at her locker just writing in her diary. And this is her at lunch on her second day. So Patrick and his friends Mario, Drake, and Lee all come to sit at her table. And honestly, at first, I thought they were actually interested in her, like love interest, like interest. Because they were all looking at her like, oh, she looks like an interesting girl. In fact, Drake was looking at her like a smart boy when he was going, oh, hi, Nikki. Would you like to go on a date? It's kind of like that vibe he has in his eyes and his face. So me surprised that some guys asked to sit at my table. Okay, so they explain how they are trying to get the science club to succeed, because Tiffany was trying to replace the science club with a selfie club, and Nikki poured her thoughts out about Tiffany's science club and said about Tiffany's selfie club and said, well, I feel like it's a bit trash because honestly, what's so pure and what's actually that good about selfies? I mean, selfies are to capture moments, not to just to take one selfie every 10 minutes. She howled at them. Yeah, it's true. Tiffany does have quite a issue about phones and selfies. So, sorry. So here, I'm so sorry. So here at the hospital, the doctor has a chainsaw and like, stand back. I need to surgically remove her cell phone from her hand, and Tiffany is just like, no, howling like a wolf. So as you can see here, they finally meet, Maxie and Nikki. Maxie Hollister staring at me in shock and horror. Nikki Maxwell, what are you doing here? She yelled. And so this is me staring at Maxie in shock and horror. Maxie, why have you stolen my life? She yelled at Maxie. So here, while they are arguing, Tiffany just comes to them and starts doing duck face. And if you don't know what duck face is just kind of doing a kissing impression for a selfie. Like how you pretend you're kissing someone, except you're not kissing anyone. You're just kissing the air, like you're just going out, lifting curving your lips up, and pushing it forward, like how this girl is doing right here. Don't know. She's just doing that type of sound. So sorry girls, but bit of you came from that trashy school Westchester Country Day. You'll never be good enough for Northampton Hills, and my video is all proof I need. You don't think for 1 minute you're going to come here and take my spot as Queen Bee. It's not happening. So, they both are flabbergasted, both Maxie and Nikki. So, instead of flipping through the pages, I'm just going to tell you the entire story, since I actually know the entire story. But since I can't be entirely sure, I'll just keep going with the flipping page thing. except I'll kind of go like this. Yeah. And so here she's talking, and here is the selfie thing. So that she writes more of her emotions and more insults towards Tiffany. So she finally talks about how she's, even though it's just the third day at Westchester Country Day, she's already sick of the week, sick of the day, sick of the week. And here, and she talks about how while she was writing in her diary, there were two girls next to her locker talking about the science club and saying that Tiffany selfie club couldn't possibly replace the science club because science is interesting and that stuff. And so Nikki talks to Mum about this. So they talk about how so Nikki talks to them about the things at the science club, and she says, write down if you want to come to a meeting, you can maybe help us save the science club. They grinned at each other. Their name was Sophia and Chase. So this here is Chase, and this is Sophia. The one with the ponytail, Sophia. The one with short hair is Chase. Remember that, please. Now, we can keep going. And so Nikki tells them to write their ideas about the science club, how to make it more interesting, and she tells them to meet them at the science club area. So now it is class, and Nikki tells the diary about how Mr. Mr. Winter's class. So Mr. Winter comes, his class is always like this. His planner book goes missing, and now they have to watch Jurassic Park. Every single time it's like that. So suddenly, while Mr. Winter was distracted, Tiffany gets up from her seat and comes to Nikki's table and hugs her and says, you know what, I apologize. I really was wrong. Nikki stared at her in disbelief. And so Tiffany went back to her seat saying, yay, maybe I got my best friend back. She's like, and Nikki's like, okay, maybe we're friends again, she thought. And so she was looking back at class when suddenly Tiffany raised her hand, and when Mr. Winter answered, she said, Nikki stole it. Stole what? Said Mr. Winter. Your book, your planner book. And so Mr. Winter looked at her and she said, I don't have it, said Nikki. But Mr. Winter didn't believe her, and she actually had it in her book bag. And even though she knew she didn't have it, she realized Tiffany had only come by to hug her just so that Mr. Winter, it could look like she had stolen the book. So Mr. Winter snatched the book off her table and talked about how she'll be having a discussion with Mr. Winter, with with her principal, who is okay, I forgot the name of the principal. Let's look for it. Okay, I can't find it exactly. It doesn't matter. Let's just say the principal for her principal. And so she comes around for PE, which they have they have horse riding in. And Tiffany when they were friends, Tiffany told her that they had to get to the stables 10 minutes early if they were gonna pick a good horse. And also Tiffany told her about Buddy, the most aggressive horse, and also the most stinky and dirtiest horse. And so because Nikki was late because of all the planning for the science for the science fair. As you can see here, she is struggling a lot to be with Buddy. Buddy tries to kill me while I hold on for dear life. And here, let's say Tiffany and her friend is just laughing at Nikki, even though Nikki could have gotten killed right there. And so here, when she gets back home, her friends visit her and they hug all together, and she just starts wailing and screaming about how she hates Northampton Hills and that she really wants to get back to NHH. So later she gets an invitation to meet Maxie at the fountain, and there she goes near the fountain, and there she sees Maxie there. So let's see what they were trying to talk about, shall we? I have to admit, he had a good point. Wait, let me find. And because Nikki told them that this was her last day, tomorrow was her last day at NHH, they got disappointed, even though they were planning everything together. So as you can see here, we're kind of getting to the end of the book. This is what I always do. I always calculate the pages, probably how many pages left until I can go, and depending on right or left, I calculate that which side is left. If left has less pages, then that means I've just begun. But if right has less pages, I'm about to end the book. So here she meets Maxie Hollister, and Maxie Hollister talks to Nikki Maxwell about how she's having such a tough time and all that. But then here, as you can see, here's the whole tough time thing of sitting alone at the cafeteria, hiding out in the bathroom. So here, if you can see, so while Maxie was talking, Nikki talks about how she was interrupted by Tiffany. And so here, Tiffany, sorry girls, but I need to take some selfies for my weekly fashion blog, and you're sitting in the most flattering light in the entire soul. So get lost, she exclaimed as she shoved us out of the way. Maxie and I stood in front of the fountain, glaring at that girl. Tiffany stepped on top of our bench like it was a stage, took several photos for herself, then frowned. Darn it, the sunlight is right over the fountain, she complained as she climbed onto the ledge. Now get out of my photo. I have a better idea, Maxie scoffed. Why don't you choke on yourself, man? Don't hate me because I'm beautiful. Tiffany sneered as she teetered on the edge of the fountain on her heels, striking various poses. Maxie and I exchanged glances. I think we both had the same wicked wish. Suddenly, Tiffany's foot slipped, and she lost her balance. Whoa! She gasped loudly. Maxie and I stared in disbelief as she wobbled back and forth. So Maxie just keeps wobbling back and forth, and waving her hands violently, trying to get balance. But finally, she ends up falling in the fountain. And so as you can see, just as Tiffany was about to topple into the fountain, she grabbed Maxie's right arm in an attempt to regain her balance, which worked for only about 2 seconds because Tiffany then knocked Maxie off her balance, and the two of them were tattering over the edge of the fountain together. That's when I valued the ledge and grabbed Maxie's left arm and pulled her in the opposite direction like she was a rope in a game of tug of war. Now all three of us were tattering back and forth over the edge of the fountain like some kind of weird circus act, trying not to fall in. It was only after I grabbed Maxie's waist that I pulled with all my might, and the three of us finally tumbled into a large heap on the marble floor. So, but the issue was, while they got tugged out, let's say Tiffany's phone had dropped out of her hand, and Tiffany shrieked echoes through the halls of the school. OMG, my cell phone is ruined. How am I supposed to take selfies now without my phone? She yelled right in the fountain as she had dived back into the fountain to look for her phone. Max and me taking videos of Tiffany for her fashion blog. So she's like, and then Maxie and I did the unmistakable. They both high-fived. Way to go. Maxie and me giving each other a high five. It's a bit understandable that she said it was unbelievable, especially since they were enemies anyways. And so, let's turn to the next page. So here are the posters that Chase had made a while ago. So here Nikki is saying, Chase, your posters are awesome. And she apologizes for the quick issue. So surprisingly, so then later she had to go for a meeting with Madame Danielle. And she said that she'll inform Nikki about the trip to Paris, the decision in 3 weeks. She also explained that because of my art skills, she felt I would get even more out of the visit to Louvre than most students. So right now I'm really happy. In spite of my disastrous week, I think I still have a really good chance of being awarded that trip to Paris. So after that, she talks about the party that they had planned. They said they'd plan a party along with the meeting to go with it, and then a lot of people would come, possibly. And so when the party ended, they would all have the meeting. So as you can see here, the Chase and Nikki started dancing, and Chase had quite some good moves, honestly. So yeah. And so later after the party, she goes around the hall to find her way to her next class, but then she passes by a big crowd, and the crowd was huddled around this one locker. She poked her way through and saw that there was this one locker written Bug Girl, and she said, OMG, I immediately had a disgustingly freaky case of deja vu. So deja vu is kind of like when you experience that something that's happening in the present when you experienced it in the past. She talks about how there's this writing called Bug Girl. There was graffiti onto the locker, and so she looks at it and thinks, this is the same thing I had been called because my dad used to be a bug extinguisher and worked for our school, until Maxie found out and put this on my locker. At least I'm happy I'm not it didn't happen at NHH, because here people seem to be a lot more gossipy rather than Westchester Country Day School. So somebody had vandalized the locker with graffiti, and when the crowd disappeared, a girl had appeared around the locker, and it was Maxie. She was staring in horror, screaming, "No!" staring at the locker. Tears flowed down her cheeks. Maxie freaking out about the graffiti on her locker. And so, looking around, Maxie sees Nikki nearby and accuses Nikki of doing this. Nikki, how could you do this to me? You ruined my life, and I'll never ever forgive you. Maxie accusing me of vandalizing her locker. As you can see, Tiffany is right here smiling at them. So, as you can see, we obviously know that Tiffany must have done this. Listen, Maxie, I exclaimed. I know you're angry now, but I would never stoop this low to hurt you or anyone else. I don't believe you for 1 second. I think you came to NHH just to humiliate me. Maxie screamed. No matter how hard I tried to convince her that I was innocent, she refused to believe me. Suddenly, Tiffany appeared out of thin air. Hey, Nikki, said Maxie. Is something wrong? You two don't sound like BFFs anymore. OMG, Maxie. Who hates you that much? She asked. batting her eyes all innocent like. Well, I'd love to hang out with you, but I gotta get back to that soccer tournament. Have fun. So there was a soccer tournament, and many kids were staying after school to watch it. So I definitely have to give Tiffany credit for being an evil genius. She probably heard one of those crazy rumors about how I'd vandalized Maxie's locker by writing Bug Girl on it, and actually doing the same thing to Maxie's NH8 locker was a perfect setup. And after she thought about all the drama, she wrote about how she could hardly wait till she could meet her friends. So as you can see here, Saturday, May 17th, 4:45 p.m. in my bedroom. I was so physically and mentally exhausted from my week at NHH, I could have slept forever. Finally, dragging myself out of bed around noon, only because I had promised Brianna that I'd spend the afternoon in the kitchen helping her try to earn the cooking badge again. So this time, Brandon was coming to her house to make popcorn balls, since Brianna couldn't actually make anything simple without needing to make it a mess. So they send the instructions, and here Brandon and me helping Brianna make popcorn balls. So here Brandon had bought chewy caramels after Nikki texted him that they had popcorn but they didn't have caramel. So he bought some from home, and when he came to the house, there was this romantic fiasco happening right now. And so here Brianna said that she wanted to stir the caramel, even though Brandon was already stirring it. So finally, listen, Brianna, while Brandon stirs the caramel sauce, you get the microwave to the popcorn. Doesn't that sound like fun? I said cheerfully. No, I want to stir the caramel sauce, she pouted. You're really good at making popcorn, so that's going to be your job, I said sternly. I read the microwave popcorn box aloud. Place 1 bag of popcorn in the microwave. Set microwave to cook for 4 minutes. Makes 3 servings. Okay, I'll make the stupid popcorn, Brianna finally muttered. As soon as I'm done, I'm gonna stir the caramel sauce and taste it too. You're not the boss of me. Then she stuck her tongue out at me, and I was super embarrassed that she was acting like such a brat in front of Brandon. So I handed Brianna the box of popcorn. If you need any help, let me know. Soon the caramel sauce was ready and cooling to room temperature. The popcorn was popping in the microwave. The sweet and savory aromas in the kitchen smelled delish. Cooking with Brandon was actually kind of romantic. Squee! He stared at me and smiled. And, well, she stared at him and smiled, and the smiling just kept going on and on and on, until finally, until we were brutally interrupted by Brianna, who was gleefully stirring the caramel, sauce, and humming to herself. Suddenly, she decided to sneak a taste and brought the huge bowl up to her mouth and tipped it sideways. Brianna, what are you doing? I gasped. Put that down right now before you accidentally. That's when Brianna went, oops. Brandon and I stared in horror as sploosh, the caramel with sauce slowly poured down the front of her shirt until she was covered in a huge sticky mess. Brianna in a sticky situation. And so suddenly the popcorn, just great. I grabbed some paper towels and about to clean her. So then clean her shirt. But then there was this loud popping noise. Why does it sound like July 4th fireworks in here? I asked, peering inside the microwave and noticing it was completely filled with popcorn. Brianna, what did you do? I did exactly what you said. I put 4 bags for 3 minutes to make 1 serving, she yelled at me. No! The directions said 1 bag for 4 minutes to take 3 servings. I groaned. Oops, Brianna button again. I hit the stop button and opened the microwave. I was shocked and surprised when, OMG! And all the popcorn came pouring out. So, yeah, this was a disaster. I took an hour to clean the humongous mess Brianna had made. But luckily, they still had some what do we say? Brandon still had a cup of caramel left, and so leaving Brianna away, she did try to help, but because she was still covered in sticky caramel, she just ended up a giant bowl of popcorn and random kitchen stuff. Oops. But at least she was a super yummy human popcorn ball. And so here, lucky for Brianna, Brandon had managed to save a cup of caramel sauce that was left over in the bowl, and I found a lot of popcorn still inside the microwave. So Brianna was able to make a dozen mini popcorn balls, which she took to her scout meeting later this afternoon. Brianna's mini popcorn ball. And so Brianna came home happily talking about how she finally got her cooking badge. Even though she said that she was never cooking with Brianna ever again. She was just happy that Brianna actually got it. And I was so happy to be back at WCD that I wanted to kiss everything hello. Like the walls, the floors, my locker, my textbooks, and my very cute crush, Brandon. It's a bit dramatic. Honestly, crushes that have been dating for 1 year, they should at least have been kissed once. Should have at least been kissed on the cheek or on the forehead or somewhere. Kind of like wives and husbands. Okay, whatever. Let's stop that. Now, everybody shared exciting stories about the school they'd attended and new friends they'd made. Like Brandon, Chloe, and Zoe had enjoyed attending Stout Ridge Middle School and hanging with Maxie. And of course, I bragged about throwing a huge party for 22 new friends at NHH. And she also showed off the photos. So here, suddenly she got a text from she got an ominous sounding email from Principal Winston. So in the email he said that he wanted her to come for a meeting at Tuesday, May 20th, 10 a.m. 10 a.m. So she's like, just great. On Friday, it was quite obvious that Maxie and Tiffany were still at war with each other. But how did that involve me and my school? Though all the NHH drama had been resolved, that's when I suddenly remembered Maxie's last day at WCD about a month ago. She had threatened to file a phony complaint against me for cyberbullying her. Only why would she do that now? I didn't know the answer, but it didn't really matter. I was about to face my worst nightmare. So as you can see here, Maxie, what she had done was since she believed that Nikki had painted the bug girl thing on her locker, she decided she'd make herself famous by sending the video herself onto the internet worldwide. See, Maxie posts her bug video online. And so here she's practicing her fake cry and practicing what all to say. As you can see here, Maxie practicing her fake cry. So here, as you can see, 1 minute. So Maxie so as you can see here, you say that suddenly the office door opened and a lady wearing trendy cute clothes entered with a cameraman in tow. Maxie and I exchanged curious looks. What did you do, Maxie? contacted a national news network?" I complained. "No, I didn't," she replied. "I have no idea what they're here for." "Excuse me, do you girls have a minute?" So the reporter asked. "We're here with Teen TV News." "Teen TV?" Maxie shrieked. "Are you going to be filming here at school? If so, I need to put on my high definition lip gloss." "Well, that depends," the reporter answers. "We're here to find out more about the video that posted online on April 21st about the girl that had a bug stuck in her." "OMG, Nikki, you sent that humiliating bug video into Teen TV?" Maxie shrieked. "What, are you trying to ruin my life? I just locked myself inside the office supply closet until they leave." Then she very rudely shoved me towards the reporter. Interview her. It's all her fault. Be careful. She's so ugly she might break your camera." Matty sneered. "Shove me like that again, girlfriend, and you'll see just how ugly I can get," I fumed. But I just said that in my head so no one else heard it but me. Since the school secretary was still at lunch, Mr. Winston was at his office, and Maxie had pretty much barricaded herself inside the office supply closet and sighed and reluctantly agreed to talk to the reporter. "We're looking for a student named Nikki Maxwell," the reporter said. "Do you know her? When we called her yesterday, you were given a name by the student office assistant named Jessica." So here they talk about how Nikki, she says that she is Nikki, and she also talks about, and also the reporter says, "Steve, we're ready to film." Honestly, I think Steve is actually a good name for cameraman. So yeah, I think it's a good name. So then finally she says that she was already on television a few months ago. It's a long story and another diary. And she says she fidgeted uncomfortably and smiled awkwardly, and she tried to restrain herself from grabbing the nearest waste basket, shoving it over my head, and running out of the office screaming. So the reporter continued about the video, and she even told Nikki about how the video was suddenly viral. And suddenly Maxie noticed. She shoved her way out of the closet and was like, and said, "Stop! You should be interviewing me, not her." Maxie screeched as she jumped in front of me. "I'm the real star of that video." Then she got really close to the camera and did a duck face. That girl was a hot mess. "Sorry, but who are you again?" Jade frowned. "Maxie Hollister. I'm the one who posted the bug shake. That's a sweep in the nation, not just not this pathetic poster," she said, pointing at me. "Wait a minute, Maxie. For the past month, you've been spreading nasty rumors and telling everyone that I posted the bug video," I exclaimed. "So now you're changing your story? Nikki, do you actually think I'm stupidly stand by and let you take credit for all my work?" And so, sorry. Let me just find the page that I was at. I am so sorry, really. Just got the page mixed up. Now, so the book stops here. Yeah. Now let's keep going. So that's what Maxie said. And so Maxie just suddenly obsessively admitted that she had sent the video. And so here, Jade the cameraman said, "Okay, so I couldn't believe I finally had the chance to end this nightmare once and for all," said Nikki. "So let me get this straight, Maxie. You're willing to admit that national TV that you purposely put that video online and absolutely nothing to do with it?" I asked. "Yes, you get it straight." So she started talking about it on the national TV. Maxie being interviewed by Teen TV about her viral video. So that's when Maxie starts bragging away onto the topic where she's a great dancer, instead of actually just admitting that the bug in her hair freaked her out. So here, suddenly she was popular again, Maxie's fan club. But then later, Tuesday, at my locker, Nikki says she was passing by the office with her friends when she saw Maxie and Jessica looking for diary. Even though Nikki also said that it was actually her diary, and that Maxie was lying to Jessica, and that in another book she had actually stolen the diary. I'd read one of those books. Honestly, Maxie wrote a bunch of stuff about like insulting her parents and all. And honestly, go to hell, Maxie. Seriously, go to hell. And she also started frantically digging in the books like she'd lost her mind, with Jessica helping her. So now she's talking about how she lost it, and then here she talks about how she wouldn't help Maxie if she could. So here, this is the end of this book. Thank you so much for watching. And by the way, I almost forgot the rating. So I'd rate the art a 10 out of 10. Super. And I'd rate the story a 7 out of 10. Because, well, it's not really the type of story I would read. And let's say the handwriting, I'd say it's pretty good. So I'll rate it an 8 out of 10. So thank you so much for watching this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye!